good.
I am so happy that you're here. This is my second episode for the Maya J Show, and I truly feel honored that you have welcomed me into your space because I have learned a lot about you. And although, we've always known each other, we never really talked about everything that you have done. And it's truly amazing and inspiring to know that I know someone who has accomplished so many things and is still accomplishing a lot. So I would love to have this conversation with you and just let the world know who Nina Lee is if they don't know already. So you're an Atlanta native. I know
Mhm.
technically it's Smyrna, but I'm from Georgia too, and we all just
Right.
sum it up to Atlanta just to make it simple,
Wow.
right? We hang out in Atlanta anyway. So I would like to know, what was it like for you growing up in the South, and what is it that you love about Atlanta?
Growing up in Atlanta was really cool because I feel like the time period of me growing up in Atlanta is when Atlanta first kind of like really came on the scene, like popping and like really started kind of taking over the industry. I think it started with like music at first. And so I remember as a little girl really only hearing music from people that were from LA or New York, but then around, like, 5th grade, I remember Ludacris came out, and I really just saw, like, the culture in Atlanta change because we became cool, kind of made me, I don't know, love myself more because I loved Atlanta so much, and to see it, like, blossoming as a culture made me feel like I could do whatever too, because these people are from, like, where I'm from.
I know there's nothing like it, honestly. And you meet so many people, so many creatives, especially that, it's really a truly special thing to say that you're from Atlanta. I saw in your Instagram post that when you were a little girl, your dad knew that you loved the camera and that you were going to be in movies. So, what was it about cameras that intrigued you? And did your parents have any influence on your career path?
I don't know what it was. I always tell people I think I was just born, like, knowing this is what I wanna do, and as a little kid, I thought because I was born knowing that I wanted to make movies, that it would be, like, really easy for me, and I think I've actually suffered a lot of depression because my journey has just been so hard, but my family has definitely made it, like, easier. And so, like, I grew up in Smyrna, but there was this high school in Sandy Springs, North Springs. And it was the only high school in Georgia that had like a film program and it had a theater program, and both were really good. And so I knew I wanted to make movies, but I wanted to act too. And so my family like made it possible. I think my mom gave like custody to my aunt who lived in the school district for North Springs. So it was like a team effort.
I think that's amazing to have such, that support behind you, backing you in your career path, and for your mom to go out her way to set it up so that, you had all the resources to make it happen is truly amazing. And I found out that that's where you did your first film. So I want to know, what was the first film that Nina created? What was it about?
I wish I still had it. But my first film, it was called The Music Box. It was just for my film class, but it was a horror film about this girl that, like, buys this, like, music box from a thrift store, and it's haunted, and so this, like, other girl around the same age as her that's dead starts, like, haunting her, and, yeah, at first she's scared of the girl, but then I don't know, they become friends.
Yeah, I'm familiar with North Springs High School. I didn't know that they provided all of that. So that's really cool that you were able to
It's some
have
cool
that.
people that went there, I know. Like, Summer Walker went there, Playboy
Oh, okay.
Cardi, Usher, Raven Simone, Zach Fox, someone from the band The Internet, yeah.
Oh, so all the greats. So you're just destined for greatness then.
They all got their success at, like, 22, but
It's okay.
sometimes things take longer.
Yeah, but you're still successful though. I really want you to know that. Like, you've really done an amazing
It's hard
job.
on myself.
It's the Capricorn. It's the
It
Capricorn.
is the Capricorn. I'd be like, "Chill out."
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm hard on myself too. I always feel like I'm not doing enough. And so I don't know what it is about us, but you truly are doing amazing. So I want you to know that. So then you went off to Spelman College, where you created the first student film festival, the Shorties. So it was 5 women, 5 films, 5 stories. So how did this come about and how was it like being a part of something so special?
Oh, man, so when I knew my whole life I always wanted to go to Spelman, even though I knew I always wanted to do film too, and so I knew Spelman didn't really have it wasn't like an art-centered school, so there wasn't really a film program, but I don't know, it was just one of those things that I also, like filmmaking, knew I always wanted to do. So I went there with the idea that I would put together, like, a short film festival. And so my freshman year, I was like trying to find teachers who would like or professors that would approve it and students that would want to be involved and didn't really find anybody. And then like senior year, I took just a screenwriting class. And so I was telling my professor how, freshman and sophomore year, I had really tried to put together a student film festival and it didn't happen. Would she be interested and helping me make it happen? Because I really wanted to make it happen. I didn't graduate on time, but I wanted to make it happen before, like, my class graduated, because they all thought I was a little crazy talking about this film festival, so I wanted them to see, like, it could happen and it could be
Yeah.
really good. And so she was like, "Oh, that sounds amazing. I'll do it." And so she asked the rest of the class, and they were like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so that's how it happened. It was really cool.
And so after you graduated, the pressure was on to keep this going. How did you, keep these connections going to help build your vision?
So I wrote a lot of scripts, a lot of scripts.
Mhm.
Um I think everything that I've done, I wrote during those 4 years that I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I watched a lot of movies, I read a lot of filmmaking books, and so I was doing stuff, it just wasn't the stuff that you can put on Instagram, stuff that gives you gratification and recognition, but I was doing stuff.
When I went on your website, though, I was seeing a lot of your work, and you have a lot of range. I mean, I saw commercials, a mini series, a short film, and you did highlight your mini series. Sorry about that, which you starred in. You created this series alongside Zay Jordan, Javier Jordan, and the Antonio brothers. How was it like working with them?
It was fun. I mean, we did took us like a year to do the project, and being with someone that long, like, you really go at each other's heads a little bit sometimes. But it was cool. We we did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm curious to know as a writer, what is it like working with other screenwriters? Does it make it easier? Does it make it harder when everyone has
Yeah,
an
that was my
input?
first time, really working with other writers. It was cool.
Mhm.
We, came up with the show all together. We came up with the characters and what they're about, that type of thing. Then we kind of came up with the episodes, and then we each just took which episodes we wanted.
Now, another project that you talked about was your short film, Artistic. And I mean, oh my gosh, like it received so much recognition. It was executive produced by Lena Waithe. And it featured Marshawn Lynch and Taylor Freeman, who I think is so amazing. I was learning so much about her, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she just seems like a cool individual."
She's the
Um,
coolest person ever.
yeah, and the film, it debuted at over 12 festivals, is that correct?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, okay. And it included the Chicago International
Mhm.
Film Festival where you won the Audience Choice Award. Okay.
Mhm. I know.
And so congrats on that. But for those who have not seen the film, can you share a little bit of the story?
Yeah, so it is about a girl with Down syndrome who's kind of struggling to make friends, and she ends up befriending her sister's ex-boyfriend, and the 2 are kind of just like The film's just kind of about, like, defeating stereotypes and yeah, they become friends, but a whole bunch of other crazy shit happens too.
And you said that the inspiration for this film is that you met a child when you were a substitute teacher. Can
Mhm.
you tell us about that interaction and how it inspired you?
Yeah, so really when I was substitute teaching, I worked in the special needs classrooms, and so when I would tell them that I'm like a writer and director, they would always be like, "Oh my god, you're so famous." And I'd be like, "No, I'm not, like, I'm literally a substitute teacher." But they would be like, "Oh, like, make a movie about us." Um,
Mhm.
and one kid was like, "I've never seen anyone make a movie about us." And he had Down syndrome, so that always stuck in my head. But then another kid, like, he was just always fresh. Like, he had on the new Yeezys, whatever, whatever. And he was just my boy, like, we would just talk, and one day I was just like, "Oh, you're so fresh, like, your parents really, like, they dressed you up." And he was like, "Oh, no, I used to sell drugs." And I
Okay.
was like, "You what? What? Okay." And so I, like, told the teacher, I was like, "He is so funny." I was like, "That's my nigga, bruh." I was like, "You think he used to sell drugs?" And the teacher was like, "Oh, no, he did." The teacher was like, "Well, he used to, like, hold drugs for, like, this Mex" he was Mexican. When they would go places, like, he would hold, like, all the drugs. And he got, like, caught one day, and yeah, that was really all she told me.
So I said child, but how old is he?
He was probably 18 or 19.
Okay.
You can stay in school if you're in this, special needs programs until you're 22.
Okay.
And so, yeah, he was a little bit older.
Okay. Because I was just imagining while you were saying this that he was like this little kid, and I'm like, what do you
He
mean?
looked younger, though.
Oh,
I
really?
would've thought it was a little kid.
Well, that's very interesting, and but I also think it's beautiful that you were able to create this film and give other people like Taylor that hope to be able to just, do whatever it is that they would like and not let their disability hold them back.
Right, yeah, when I had written it, I didn't really write a whole lot of lines because whoever we casted, I didn't want them to feel, like, overwhelmed. But yeah, Taylor knew all her lines, Marshawn did not know his lines, and so in between takes, she would, like, feed him his lines, and so, yeah, it really all came together. So, stuff doesn't really happen, like, quickly for me, but it be happening.
I bet it was an amazing experience working with Marshawn. Was he like making you laugh on set and stuff?
Oh,
Because I know
yeah.
he's a funny
He's
guy.
making everybody laugh, but he was, like he took it, like, really serious too.
Okay.
Like, he
Yeah.
kept just telling all of us because most of my set was friends of mine that that had been working on the girls' room or even some of my friends from high school. So these are people that I'd never paid before. And so they were all on set for this, and it was my first time being able to pay them. It wasn't a lot. You think 70,000 is a lot, but when you have to pay everyone and you
Yeah.
have to pay them their rate, it was so many things that I wanted to do that I'd been able to kind of do with smaller projects of mine because I don't have to pay people their rate, their SAG rate and stuff. But that money went quick. But yeah, he just kept saying how proud he was of us. He was just like, "Wow, like, your friends have been with you, like, since day 1. Like, he was like, "I've been on big sets before, but I've never seen anything like this." He was like, "This is so inspiring."
And how was it going on the festival runs? What was that like for you?
Oh, man, this was my first festival run, and I knew it was brutal, but I didn't know it was, like, so brutal. So I think I applied to 20 festivals, and I think yeah, we got into 12, I think is what it said. It might have been less than that. I sometimes I need to really get a poster and put everything on there, um, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
I did not I didn't really know a lot about festivals because I just always put stuff on YouTube, but, like, I found out, like, even to get into, like, Atlanta Film Festival and Chicago International Film Festival, you have, like, a 10% chance because it's, like, 5,000 submissions, and they're accepting, like, 30 short films, and so to get in, like, that amount, yeah, it was really cool.
Man, well, congratulations. Because when I was seeing that, I was like, wow, Nina is out here doing it. I mean, all these festivals, and she's getting her award, she's meeting all these people. I mean, you should
Uh,
really feel proud of yourself because that was really inspirational to see.
it is.
One thing that I did notice in your projects is that you do feature in most of them. So I wanted to know, like, because you also are into acting as well, is it
Mhm.
just you, being an actress, or is it your signature so people know, like, okay, the Nina film?
I guess it's both. I really like acting. I really, really like it. So, I've really been focusing on just writing and directing. So, I'm not really going out on auditions or trying to consume my time with really big, like, acting projects. So, it's always a way for me to kind of, like, do one of my other passions without having to make, like, a big commitment or dedicate a lot of time to it right now.
Is there any project that you can speak on right now that we can look forward to?
I shot a show with HBO. Um, so it was supposed to be airing next year, but I don't know if you've been keeping up with like the HBO and Discovery thing that's going on where they're pulling the plug on a lot of stuff. So it may not come out, but if it does, really excited about that. Um, my favorite filmmaker, the person that is the whole reason I got into filmmaking, is looking over my pitch deck as we speak. And I'm hoping that it's a project he wants to take on, but even if it's not, I had to pitch a lot of people for the pitch to make it into his hands. So the fact that it's in his hands and he's looking over it is just like still such an accomplishment.
I'm excited. Fingers crossed, everything works out. I know it will. It always ends up working
It
out.
always ends up, you just gotta trust the waiting periods. And I'm talking to
Exactly.
myself because I don't be. Like, I know that's the lesson God wants me to really take on. So anybody watching this, don't even beat yourself up because I do it too, but we gotta trust the downtime.
I really appreciated this
This was
conversation,
fun,
Nina.
Maya.
I know. This was really fun. I can't wait to see what else you have in store for us. I know that it's going to be amazing. Never
Yeah.
doubt yourself, girl, because you got this.
No, I know.
Thank you so much
But
once again. All right. I will see
thanks,
you
and
later, girl.
see you later.
Have a good
Bye.
day. Bye.